Hey there, and thank you for joining me. Happy Pride Month. I've done videos about Pride the last couple of years, and if you haven't seen it, check it out on my playlist. Today I want to talk about transpause women and what we know. A call out to transpause female who would like to share their story with us. Email me at the link to the description below. Here we go. When I grew up, the basic knowledge of sexuality was lesbian, gay, and bisexual, which was the LGBT community. Today, it's gotten much more complicated and more inclusive, which is a great thing. So this stands for gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender, questioning, or queer, intersex, and asexual. The plus stands for sexual identities like pansexual and so on. Trans female have a much higher risk of HIV. Some risk factors include drug alcohol abuse, sex work, incarceration, homelessness, attempted suicide, unemployment, lack of family support, violence, stigma, discrimination, limited healthcare access, where the fear and stigma from trans people can and will cause many of the situations to happen. Now I want to run through some fast facts. Worldwide, 19% of transgender women are living with HIV. In the US, 21.6% of transgender women are living with the disease. And remember, that's all that we know of. I'm sure there's plenty more out there are not accounted for. This is a huge problem. Trans people of color have a much higher risk of 24.9% as compared to the 2.4% of all African Americans. So HIV is 3 times more prevalent among trans black women than white or Latina trans women, which I find is alarming. 19% of trans people surveyed have been refused medical care for their gender identity or sexual expression. 28% claim they have been harassed in the doctor's office. Now, if that were me, I would never go back there again, and I'd be second guessing going anywhere else. That is a really tough thing to face, really. Somehow I wonder if that's even legal. Like, doctors have to take an oath, right? I see that trans women are much more likely of getting HIV if they've been sexually assaulted because of their gender identity, do not have their high school diploma, made less than $10,000 a year, and unemployed due to bias. I work in a Canadian automotive factory, and we have some trans people who are open about it and working there, and there has been no issues that I have seen. We even have posting a Pride Month and the history of it and why we have it, which is fantastic. Bravo. There is zero tolerance for discrimination. Recently, I saw on the Canadian news that some parents have been protesting outside of schools, mainly about sex education, primarily about gender identity, what it means to be gay, the history of Pride, and so on. Which, in my opinion, they shouldn't be there. They should be at the school board office or at Parliament Hill. Don't cause that negative environment at the school where some small children who are quietly maybe gay, transgender, are going to see this, and how is that going to make them feel? It's not right. We can do better than this. We need prevention and education. Trans people need access to competent, affirming, sex-positive, safer sex information, and that's geared towards their bodies, relationships, and community situations. There are barriers to care, as I was mentioning before. Trans people face care challenges where other HIV-positive people do not. The fear of being discriminated against by healthcare professionals or being denied treatment because of their gender identity or expression, you would imagine the barriers would make it more likely that trans people would avoid getting tested and less likely to remain on HIV care, and this could be causing a lot of health issues in the community and spreading it around. Trans people were in the front lines of the Stonewall movement fighting for our rights and freedoms, and later on during the AIDS crisis, remember the gay disease? At this time.
Honoring Marsha P Johnson. A black transgender activist, Marsha P Johnson participated in the Stonewall Uprising in 1969 and surrounding activism that sparked the LGBTQ+ movement in the late 60s and into the 70s. During this time, white gay men and lesbians dominated the conversation, and Marsha P Johnson wanted to be part of the conversation and advocate for transgender people. The P in her name stood for Pay It No Mind. This was her life motto and her response when people asked questions about her gender. She also enjoyed expressing herself through her appearance. A self-made drag queen, Marsha P Johnson was known for her elaborate crowns of fresh flowers and her unique costume designs, creating outfits using things from thrift stores, gifts from friends, and items she found on the street. In the 1970s, Marsha P Johnson rose to prominence as an advocate for the homeless LGBTQ+ youth, those affected by HIV and AIDS, and gay and transgender rights. In 1975, Andy Warhol featured her along with 13 others in his Ladies and Gentlemen print series, highlighting the New York transgender community. Having spent most of her life without a permanent home, Marsha P Johnson and her friend Sylvia Rivera founded the Star House, a place where transgender youth without homes could unite and feel safe in New York City. She was known for her generosity and kindness, often giving people clothes and food, even though she had little of her own. In 2019, in honor of the 50th anniversary of the Stonewall Uprising, New York City announced that monuments commemorating Marsha and Sylvia would be built in the city, honoring their transgender activism. Honoring Marsha P Johnson.
Always remember that rights can be fought for and won, but if you become too complacent, they can be taken away. So that's all I have for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please check out plenty of my other videos that I have, and thank you for taking the time to join me. Please remember to like and subscribe and tap that notification bell to be notified. Until next time, Michael K here. Take care, everyone.